Hey everyone, ready to dive into something awesome?
Always. What are we exploring today?
Today, it's all about 3D printing.
3D printing, huh? That's pretty cool.
More than cool, it's a game changer. And we're going deep on what it takes to be a 3D printing specialist.
You mean the people who actually build stuff, like right out of the computer?
Exactly. We've got this incredible report from Life Skill Foundation, LSF. They're all about helping students in India, especially grades 8 to 12, figure out their ideal careers.
I've heard of them. They're legit. And this report is like their specialty.
Totally.
Yeah.
LSF knows students need the inside scoop, and this report breaks it all down, even for parents and teachers. So what does the 3D printing specialist actually do?
Imagine this. You design something amazing on the computer, and then poof, it's real.
No way.
Way. These specialists use high-tech software plus 3D printers to take digital designs and make them into real-life objects.
That's mind-blowing. This report even mentions it's used here in India for medical implants and car parts.
It's true. It's already huge. But globally, 3D printing is changing how we make everything faster, often cheaper, and way better for the planet. We're talking huge career potential here.
Okay, now I'm really interested. But let's be real. What kind of person actually thrives in a field like that?
Great question. LSF uses something called the Holland Code. It breaks down personality types for careers. For 3D printing, they say realistic, investigative, and conventional.
Okay, break those down for me. What's realistic about 3D printing?
Think hands-on. Someone who loves gadgets, getting their hands dirty, seeing their ideas become real things, not just designs.
So definitely not a desk job then.
No way. Now, investigative, those are the curious ones, always asking why and how can this be even better? Natural problem solvers, digging into how things work.
So curiosity is a must-have. What about conventional? Does that mean they always play by the rules?
Kind of. They like structure and precision. Think organized, detail-oriented, following procedures carefully. That's key when you're dealing with complex designs and need things to be exact.
Makes sense. Every detail matters. This report also mentions job zones. What are those?
Oh, good catch. Those basically categorize experience levels in 3D printing. Think of it like climbing a ladder. You've got entry level, what LSF calls Job Zone 2, where you're learning the ropes, assisting the pros.
Like getting your foot in the door. What education do you need for that?
A diploma or a certification in 3D printing can get you started. LSF has this clear roadmap for students in 10th and 12th grade, super helpful.
Let's talk about that roadmap. What's in it?
Well, if you're in 10th grade thinking about this, they say focus on STEM physics, math, computer science. Those are your building blocks.
Makes sense. You're blending digital with physical. Gotta have those skills. What about after 12?
Then you've got options. Diploma, bachelor's degree, LSF even points to mechanical engineering, industrial design, or those specialized 3D printing technology programs.
Any colleges here in India that are top-notch for that?
The report specifically mentions the Indian Institutes of Technology, or IITs, National Institute of Design, NID, Vellore Institute of Technology, VIT, and Sastra University.
Whoa, some heavy hitters there.
Right. But those are just a few examples. There are tons of great schools out there offering awesome programs in these fields.
And what about certifications? Do those
Yeah.
hold weight in the 3D printing world?
Totally. They give you a real edge, especially for specific software or tech. LSF actually recommends places like Coursera, Udemy, and NPTL, affordable and accessible certifications in CAD software and 3D printing.
Good to know. So many ways to skill up. Okay, before we go deeper into what this career actually looks like day to day, I have to ask about this myth LSF debunks. 3D printing is just for making little plastic toys. Come on.
It's a classic. Sure, you can print trinkets, but the reality is way cooler.
So give me the real deal. What are some mind-blowing examples that just shatter that myth?
We touched on medical and car stuff, but for real impact, the report talks about how 3D printing makes aircraft parts crazy strong but lightweight.
Now that's what I'm talking about. It sounds like we're just scratching the surface of what 3D printing can do.
Exactly, and that's what makes this career so exciting, always changing, endless possibilities.
So we've talked about what 3D printing is, who might like it. But what's a typical day like for these specialists?
Oh, it's a mix. Think digital design, working with those printers hands-on, and of course, lots of problem solving.
Problem solving. Like what?
Well, it is cutting-edge stuff, right?
Yeah.
Things don't always go perfectly, so a big part is thinking critically, troubleshooting when things go wrong, and finding creative solutions.
Makes sense. So it's not just hitting print and boom, you're done. What else is part of their day?
They're masters of 3D modeling software like digital sculpting. That's how they make the blueprints, get every detail right. before anything actually gets printed.
So you need artistic skills for this too.
Big time. Design sense, aesthetics, those matter. But it's more than looking good. The design has to be functional, something you can actually print.
You can't print a square circle after all.
Exactly. And that's where the technical side comes in, setting up those 3D printers, calibrating them, running them. That's all on them, too. Choosing materials, fixing glitches, it's all part of the job.
Oh yeah, materials. The report mentioned that like they need to know material science. What's the deal with that?
Oh, it's huge. Different materials act totally different when you 3D print them. Flexibility, strength, how they handle heat. Specialists have to know all that to pick the right material for each job.
Not just choosing your favorite color then.
Sadly, no. And the report even mentions coding. The more complex the designs get, the fancier the software on the printer has to be. So knowing some programming helps them push the limits.
So like this career is part artist, part technician, part coder. So we talked hard skills. What about those soft skills? What does LSF say about that?
Problem solving, top of the list. And attention to detail, we're talking precision, down to the millimeter. And let's not forget, you gotta stay calm when things get tough.
Makes sense. Tiny details, high pressure, not for the faint of heart.
You got it. The report also mentions being able to picture things in 3D, good hand-eye coordination, all that. It's a wild mix of skills for sure.
So for anyone listening who's thinking, sign me up,
Hmm.
what's the job market like? Are 3D printing specialists in demand?
100% yes. And LSF says it's only going up as more industries realize what 3D printing can do.
What's driving that? Why are so many businesses jumping on board with this?
Well, first off, it's often way cheaper than old school manufacturing, especially for smaller batches or when you're making custom stuff.
Ultimate personalization tool then, huh?
Exactly. Plus, sustainability. 3D printing creates less waste, smaller carbon footprint. It's big for companies these days.
Like building the future, but doing it right.
Exactly. And that's what's so cool about this career. It's tech, but it's also about using tech to make a better world.
Now, what about someone who thinks 3D printing is cool, but being a specialist isn't their thing? Any other jobs in this field they could look into?
Absolutely. The report talks about that too.
Let's hear it. What else is out there?
Well, if you're all about that design side, industrial design could be your jam. Dreaming up new products, figuring out how to make them real.
Sounds pretty cool.
Right. Or maybe you're the more technical type. Mechanical engineer could be a good fit then. All about those mechanical systems, how they're designed and built.
So lots of options, even if being a specialist isn't your thing. What about if you like the 3D printing world, but want something within that?
The report's got you covered. They mention CAD technicians. You'd be creating those super detailed technical drawings, the blueprints, using computer software. It's like the backbone of every 3D printing project.
God, so those designs we were talking about earlier, that's where they come from.
Exactly. Or you could be an additive manufacturing engineer, really specializing in the process of 3D printing, how to improve it, make it even better.
Wow, so many paths. This report is seriously impressive. They even get into salaries, which I know everyone wants to know about.
Of course, everyone wants to know what they could be earning. It's important.
For sure. So spill it, what are we talking about here? What can someone in this field realistically make?
All right, so starting out, those entry-level jobs in India, what LSF calls Job Zone 2, you're looking at around 2,000,000 to 3,050,000 each year.
Not a bad start at all.
Right. Then, as you get more experience, move up to those mid-level roles, Job Zone 3, now we're talking 5,000 euro, 8,000 annually.
Okay, now that's a nice jump.
Yeah, you're really starting to see the potential there. And for the pros, the experts leading the way, those Job Zone 4 positions, the report mentions salaries over 10,000 per year.
Wow. Okay, so the earning potential is definitely there if you put in the work.
No doubt.
You mentioned earlier that 3D printing could really change traditional manufacturing jobs. A lot of people are talking about that. What's LSF take on it all?
Yeah, it's a big question, right? And LSF gets that. They say, just like with any new tech, things are going to shift in the job market. It's inevitable.
So robots taking over the factories then?
Laughs.
Hmm.
Not quite that dramatic. LSF's view is more, how do I say this, realistic. They think, instead of completely ending jobs, 3D printing is more likely to change what those jobs look like.
Change how? What does that even mean?
Okay, so instead of doing the same task over and over, which is what usually gets automated, we'll probably need more skilled techs, people who can run and fix these complex 3D printers.
Makes sense. Someone's got to be in charge of those things.
Exactly. And then you've got the designers creating those intricate 3D models and the problem solvers pushing the limits of the tech.
So it's more about humans and tech working together then, not just robots replacing everyone.
Totally. And that's where the real opportunity is. Being open to learning new things, adapting as things change, and building up those in-demand skills.
Sounds like the future is full of challenges, but some amazing possibilities too.
100%. And that's where groups like Life Skill Foundation are so important.
Absolutely. Giving young people the info they need, the guidance, showing them the possibilities out there, it's huge.
It really is. They're not just helping people find any job, but find a career they actually love, something that uses their skills and plays to their strengths.
This whole deep dive has been eye-opening. I feel like I've learned so much about 3D printing, the jobs it's creating, and what Life Skill Foundation is doing to prepare people. It's really incredible.
Me too. It's a field that's just exploding with potential, and it's so exciting to think about what amazing things will be created, all thanks to 3D printing.
If you're listening to this and you're even a little bit curious, check out the full report from Life Skill Foundation. It's got tons more info, resources, real practical advice. You can find all their contact info on their website and give them a follow on social media to stay updated.
And hey, maybe you'll be one of the people pushing the boundaries of this tech, building the future, one layer at a time.
Now that's something to think about. Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.